FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good afternoon to you and welcome to your main newscast on Kaieteur Radio. In our headlines this afternoon, countries must end all new fossil fuel exploration and production and shift to renewable energy. There is no time for delay, no room for excuses, according to UN Secretary General. More oil finds present additional opportunities as helicopters provide a boost for nice cash flow from Guyana's oil operations. Exxon's subcontractor inks new contract for additional offshore surveys, and government silent to date on new patched. Meanwhile, government boasts of not spending oil proceeds contained in NRF. An opposition MP says PPP borrowing will put dent in savings. Anti-COVID-19 vaccination protest escalates in Linden, and the Mackenzie-Wismar Bridge blocked and minibuses en route to interior locations affected. Public Spirit citizens help save motorcyclists from watery grave. And Regent Street shooting executed businessman's friend still critical. Stay tuned to stay informed.
I'm in a rush. Digital got me in a rush. Driving style for the summer. Digital summer rush.
Nobody's doing it big like Digicel this summer. Top up with $1,000 or more and collect the letters to spell the word RUSH for a chance to win one of 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs. Yes, you heard it right. 3 brand new Toyota Rush SUVs.
Driving style for the summer. Hey, Digicel summer rush.
Start topping up now.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us with your Thursday, August 12th main newscast. My name is Joshua Van Slykeman. On the heels of a damning report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which speaks to the devastating effects of human activity on the Earth, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said that the message facing the petroleum industry cannot be any clearer. In a statement he released this week, Guterres said the message before the industry unequivocally states that oil and gas exploration and production must not continue. There must be a swift shift to renewable energy. Guterres stressed that the word of caution must be heeded since the internationally agreed threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius is perilously close since the world is currently at 1.2 degrees Celsius. The UN Secretary General added that global warming has accelerated in recent decades and greenhouse gas emission concentration are at record level. Extreme weather and climate disasters are increasing infrequently and intensely. President and CEO of Bristow Group, Chris Bradshaw, the UK-based company that has been contracted by ExxonMobil Guyana to provide its onshore and offshore helicopter support services, believes offshore drilling, particularly in the Guyana Basin, continues to be one of the bright spots for the global offshore oil and gas industry. In fact, the Trinidad to Guyana and Suriname region, where the country currently boasts a leading position, was acknowledged as a region that is one that generates a nice cash flow return for the company. Bradshaw noted too that Guyana still presents additional opportunities for the company since not only they continue to make discoveries, but there are now other oil and gas companies becoming involved there in Guyana. Let's stick with oil. Esso has inked a contract with the Oceaneering International for 2 surveys offshore Guyana as the company expands its operation in the blocks it holds controlling interest in the country's exclusive economic zone. The new contract awarded covers a towed and autonomous underwater vehicle AUV, its geophysical survey and a shallow geotechnical survey off the coast of Guyana. Oceaneering International made the announcement on Tuesday last by way of a public missive, which disclosed that the company would be utilizing its DB2 Cape Davis vessel. A geotechnical survey consists of gathering information about the physical characteristics of the soils and rocks that make up the land. According to the announcement, the surveys are slated to commence in the third quarter of the year. You're listening to us right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. More news after the break. Stay with us.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back, and we continue with the news in the details. An announcement in the National Assembly on Monday by Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat of the accumulation and management of $436 million in the Natural Resource Fund (NRF), stemming from the completion of 7 million barrel oil lifts, royalties and interests, was met with objections from Opposition Member of Parliament Shireen Holder. Holder objected to Bharat's presentation to the National Assembly about the PPP's administration management of the country's NRF. Bharat said that the fund is well managed by the government without spending a cent from the sum. However, in a subsequent presentation, Holder, an APNU AFC Member of Parliament, called out the government for exorbitant borrowing, saying it will eventually put a dent in Guyana's NRF. Meanwhile, yesterday, Londoners came out in their numbers to join frontline health workers who were locked out of healthcare facilities across the region. This is the second day that the no vaccine, no entry policy has been enforced, and residents have joined the healthcare workers who were denied access to their place of employment for failure to produce a COVID-19 vaccination card. The irate protesters assembled first at the Linden Hospital complex, where they were addressed by members of Parliament Jermaine Figuera and Devon Sears. The two MPs, who were both vaccinated, collectively stressed that they are not against the vaccination campaign, but against mandatory vaccination, impositions, and move to deny frontline workers their right to access their place of work. The protest action then moved to the Arch, where scores of residents blocked traffic from the Mackenzie shore. They chanted, "My body, my choice, no mandatory vaccine. We have a right to choose, and open the gate, let the nurses come in." At this point, there was heavy police presence on the Mackenzie and Wisma Bridge, and the Commander of Region 10, Hugh Winter, urged residents to desist from blocking the road and obstructing the flow of traffic. Meanwhile, still clinging to life in the ICU of the Georgetown Public Hospital is the friend of Brazilian businessman who was executed by gunmen late Tuesday night. This is according to information released by the Georgetown Public Hospital. The executed businessman is Eudes De Silva, and his friend were sitting in De Silva's black Toyota Tacoma pickup, which was parked in front of the Shamdas Kirpalani store at 22 hours 30 on Regent Street when gunmen attack. CCTV footage shows that the heavily tinted white car pulled behind the pickup, and two men dressed in black hoodies stepped out with high-powered rifles. Meanwhile, the heroic actions of public spirit citizens Tuesday night helped to save the life of a man who has been struck down from his motorcycle on the public road in Berbice. Hospitalized with a broken right leg and right arm is 33-year-old Videsh Prasad, while the driver of the motor car that collided with Prasad's motorcycle has been identified as 47-year-old Ramando Singh. As a result of this, the motorcyclist was flung off the motorcycle and landed into the Eversham outfall between the sluice door, located on the western side of the public road. Eyewitnesses at the scene said that Singh did not try to assist the motorcyclist, but seems more focused on getting his car out of the muddy dam. It was a female security guard attached to the Queensway Security Service noticed the injured man holding on to the sluice door with one hand. And it is time for your COVID-19 updates and, of course, your page 7 of the Kaieteur News. It is time for the page 7 of the Kaieteur News, and, of course, that is dedicated daily to being blunt. Strange things are happening in this land. Apart from this newspaper's steady campaign, it is as if we have no one else to truly defend this nation's honor. Yes, a change of government was indeed needed, and we got it. But they didn't really get a change or an exchange. We need men and women of substance who are driven by a burning desire to see Guyana develop for all Guyanese, not just a few and the ever-present foreigners. While we expect that it will be a tall task to ensure that each Guyanese has the best possible life, it certainly isn't impossible for those in government to choose to make responsible decisions that would at least give Guyanese the impression that we have a government that truly cares. And that is your page 7 of the Kaieteur News. You can read it for yourself by picking up a copy and, of course, turning your attention to page 7. It is time for your COVID-19 updates just before we wrap things up here on your main newscast. Yesterday, the Ministry of Health reported that 3 more persons who contracted COVID-19 disease have died. According to the ministry, the latest deaths are that of a 74-year-old man from Region 10 and 2 women, an 83-year-old and an 82-year-old, both from Region 4. Because of this, the country's COVID-19 death toll has moved to 567. The ministry revealed that during the last 24 hours, there were 86 new cases, bringing the total number of confirmed cases to 23,156. Presently, there are 86 persons in institutional isolation, 14 patients in the COVID-19 ICU, 690 persons in home isolation, and 7 in institutional quarantine. To date, a total of 21,799 persons have recovered after testing positive for the virus. And with that, we've come to the end of your main newscast right here on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Let me remind you that you can get the full details of these stories and much more by picking up a copy of the Kaieteur News at a newsstand near you, or head across to our website at kaieteurnewsonline.com. I am Joshua Van Slegman. Thank you for joining us. Coming up after the news is going to be time for a short presentation on the oil and gas sector by publisher of the Kaieteur News, Mr. Glenn Lau, followed by your Thursday edition of the National Outlook with GHK Lau.
Want value for your advertising dollar?